today is like, I'm so fucking depressed, and I haven't worked out why. There's definitely a difference between grief and depression. I know that much. I don't feel like, I mean, I have grief in my chest/stomach. I am feeling it. I don't know. There's like a general weightedness to all of me in my experience, and like a heaviness. Hey, do you want to bring me the ball? That it's hard to talk. I feel like I have very little energy. Everything's overwhelming. I have no motivation to do anything. Everything is hard. And God, just the weight in my fucking chest, and the sickness, and like my throat is, it's hard to, oops, sorry. It's hard to even speak. Hey, good dog. Good dog. Go on, run. Jesse, run. He's so funny. I'm trying to get it to you, Bram. It's hard, you know. It's a lot today. Hey, good dog. Good dog. It's fucking miraculous, frankly, that I can take the dogs out. Hey, it takes. Oh, you alright? You okay? Oh, it's a lot of my energy. It's like, kind of feels like an impossible task. I just want to feel like I'm collapsing in on myself with fucking lava, impluming, what's the word? Caving in on myself, like half dried molten rock. That's kind of how I feel. And move this, hey, good dog, to somewhere where I can actually see myself when I watch it back, understand. It's easier if I get my body language, hey, my facial expression while I'm talking. God. I'm so fucking drained. Hey, drop it. Good girl. And I just want to cry. Like, I feel kind of sick with the weight in my chest. I don't want to eat or do anything. I have eaten. I have even done my like 3 minutes of jogging on the spot to music. I'm showered. Put on makeup. Hey. Messaged friends. Nothing has really done anything. If anything, I feel more depressed than I did at the beginning of the day, but I'm just kind of hoping that it's like, we have every goddamn reason to be really fucking depressed. So I'm hoping that it's one of those things that, like, even though it doesn't feel the same as I am used to experiencing grief, like maybe if I just stay in my body, it'll move through me. I'm like a, don't know, like a catalyst, or like a, I don't know what to call it, but I noticed that I'm like a, not quite a muse, what else? Like I hold this stuff. It's in my body, it's in my brain, it's in our entire system. I have some access to it, and it seems to be like my job to let it be, like, to, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like I pilot the body and I just let it move through me. Good dog. You're so clever. So clever. I had really trash dreams basically about like how this new way that I am responding to people in relation to our family, and it was like it was really fucking fucked up. But it was basically about like how being open and honest and talking to people in our family about the difficulties we have and being genuine about where their behaviour is harmful to us led to them brutally killing themselves. And this is not something that I think I have to be afraid of in actuality. It's clearly something that we're worried about, the impact of being open about everything. I do worry about, yeah, it is something that's on my mind a lot of the time, at least in every interaction. Of course I think about what sort of an impact this is going to have. I think we live in a world where like, you make me happy, you do. We live in a world where it's kind of normalised to just not be difficult and not speak about things. Definitely with generational trauma, I think I live in a family where we didn't have the language and we didn't understand what things were impacting us to talk about them. So it's not normal, and it's something that we're just absolutely throwing ourselves into, even though it's really challenging and scary. So I think, of course, I worry about what the impact's going to be. And I think it's right that I'm doing it. I'm not questioning whether or not I'm doing the right thing, because I know I am. I'm doing the right thing by us, and that's the only thing I can do. Also, yeah, it scares me. Yeah, I wonder what it's doing to people. I remind myself that it's not like my responsibility. All I'm doing is being honest and trying to do so always with compassion. I don't think I could be doing better than I am. And also, it's like, it's so abnormal. It's so like, I wonder, like, our one member of our family who we don't really speak to often, but she texts us. She's very, very sweet. We text occasionally. She knows we're in therapy. She knows we're processing trauma. She's been very supportive. When I came out as trans, she was very supportive. Immediately started calling me by my name. And then I fused and my name changed, and I was like, okay, my name has changed again. And then I had a text from her that I've been leaving because it was like my fucking name's changed again. And I can't tell her, I can't sign off with my old name because that feels like I'm hiding us and like I'm lying, and it does a lot to how it communicates to us, like what I think of us and how I will show up for us and whether or not I think there's something to be ashamed about. So I can't lie. So I was just ignoring this text because I was like, I can't tell her my name's changed for a third fucking time. This is like going above and beyond what's usual. And then I kind of just found that I could. Like yesterday I responded, and I was at the end where I signed my name, I put in brackets, my name has changed again. A very healthy and normal part of the mental health issues that we're going through, which I have not told her what they are, but more and more I've told her the effects, slowly. And then I was like, but I appreciate not usual. And haven't got a response yet, but I expect a supportive response when I do get one, if a little confused. Like, I'm not worried about how she'll respond. I am worried about how she feels or what she thinks. I don't know if it's in a people-pleasing way or in just like, because it could just be that it could just be the codependent fucking fawn mode shit, that it's just so abnormal to me to go against. and it feels so dangerous. So it could just be that. I also don't like the idea of worrying people, and I don't like the idea that I'm thinking us being ourselves is worrying to people. Like, I don't want to think anything or act in any way that communicates to my system that I think we're a burden. I don't. I absolutely don't. Good dog. So this is clearly big on my mind, and it's like this push-pull dynamic of like different parts of me feeling and thinking different things, as probably has become evident through this vlog. That's like, some parts of me feel afraid and kind of grief-stricken that it's like all at once, you know. I can't even work out how to talk about it because I have to say one point first in chronological order from the rest, and it's not in my brain that way. It's all at once at exactly the same time in exactly the same amount, and it's like really hard to distinguish enough to even talk about it without sounding like I'm giving more importance to one part or the other, because I have to chronologically order it, because I can only talk in like 2 dimensions, whereas in my head it can exist there in multi dimensions all at the same time. So like, I don't want to communicate. If I had to give it an order, I think the most important part is that I don't want us to feel like the way we exist and just being ourselves and just taking care of us is burdensome to the people around us or harmful to them. Because thinking that way would be harmful to us. And I am afraid for what conversations with our family in this new way will feel like for them or make them think for their mental health. Especially like conversations with our mum. I think about this a lot because there's a lot of things that were normalised to us growing up that are really fucked up, and she obviously had them normalised to her. So even by just saying that's codependency, we don't do it anymore, it highlights where the generational trauma has been passed down to her, and it highlights where she was maybe not able to receive from her parents everything that she needed because they maybe were not able to receive it, you know. Like, it's just really fucking sad because it's not really anyone's fault in this instance, or at least not as far back as I can trace. Apparently we had someone in our family like several generations ago who used to get drunk and chase his kids around the kitchen with a sword, and believe you me, that does not surprise me with our sperm donor. But, you know, I don't know where it was passed down from. I can safely say he was an abusive cunt and the person who sired us was, but our grandparents were lovely. They just, I don't think they received all the tools they needed to pass them on. So it's like, and they're both dead. And anytime we mention anything, like anytime we have an honest communication, an honest conversation with our mum about, hold on a sec, this is bothering me, about things we're learning in therapy of how to meet our needs, what happens about boundaries, how to uphold them, what things are crossing them, what it means to focus and prioritise ourselves instead of other people. Like anything we learn and communicate to her, which we kind of have no choice but to do if I want authentic, genuine communication, it automatically highlights what has been wrong for her whole life and our whole life. And I am so aware that she doesn't have the privilege we have of being able to discuss it with her parents and maybe get closure for things, or maybe understanding, so I just feel like it throws such complicated and isolating issues her way that she will have to unpack with us on her own, with a therapist. Either way, she can't she can't talk to her parents about it the way that we can, at least with one of ours. And the other one, we've got as much closure as we could possibly have by calling him a cunt to his fucking face over and over again whenever he tried to contact us. So, like, we've got as good as it gets. And she hasn't, and I can see that. And it makes me afraid for bringing stuff up, because it's like, am I just going to saddle her with a load of unresolvable grief that she has to work through? But the other option is to... Well, there is no other option, because the other option would be pretending that some things are okay when they're not, and then that splits us. Like, I have to be really fucking careful. The way we've been through a lot, like more than I can even comprehend all at once. Obviously, hence the fragmentation. But, you know, the level of fragmentation that we underwent protectively, our brain has learned that that is what you do to... If you can't hold two things at once safely, our brain has learned to separate them. So while healing and going through this really intensive fusion process within my what would have been subsystem, with now what is parts of me, everything's very delicate. It really is like gluing together a fractured light bulb, and like you can imagine the slightest touch while the glue is setting can shift everything out of balance and pieces can fall out. So I cannot sideline our needs. I can't even once. It immediately fractures me again, and parts of me are so like, it's so much work to keep us all together. Totally worth it. I'm not saying work in a bad way, just I don't have the liberty of... I can't even have one conversation. Like, I can't... I can't make one thing deliberate, accidental, doesn't really matter. I can't communicate that mistreatment of us, or sidelining our needs, or prioritising other needs over ours is okay, because the second I do that, that's so triggering and so re-traumatising to parts of me that we lose connection with each other immediately. So I don't have another option other than to keep, like, I feel like I just keep bursting her bubble, the stuff that she didn't grow up knowing about, and like every conversation is highlighting what things we didn't receive, which highlights that she didn't receive them, and what things are fucked up, which means that she has to then encounter past events and traumas in her life that probably have not been seen as trauma, that highlight how fucked up these things are. And it's like a constant... I constantly feel like I'm going around kicking puppies, and the other option is destroying us, and I can't do that. So it's really hard to keep in mind that I'm doing the right thing, and that this is just a really complicated situation, and there's not really like a perfect solution. I know, cognitively I know we're doing the right thing, but it's just, it doesn't always feel like it, because it involves like breaking through her assumed reality over and over again with a perspective that, yeah, shatters what she has known. And I fucking hate it. And I'm angry. I'm really fucking angry. And it's a lot of weight and grief to carry. And there is nothing I can be doing better. And every single part of that makes me fucking angry. Take a little break, Bram. You're really panting. You know you're like 11 now? Can you tell? Do you feel it? Go rest. Go shoo. Shoo. I really, it feels so fucking unfair. And I can't put the blame anywhere because, how is my mum or her mum's mum, how is anyone supposed to know that what they're teaching or not teaching is harmful if the society and the times don't tell them? It's not like this information has ever been readily available. I'm probably one of the first generations where it's I'm likely to come across it without looking for it. And how can you look for something if you don't know that you're supposed to be looking for it? I don't know how anyone could have done better before me, and also at the same time it feels so fucking unfair, and I think it is so fucking unfair that the responsibility of breaking this falls to us. And it's constant, that responsibility. It's in every single minute, in every conversation, and in every interaction. I have to carefully think through and plan out how to have these conversations in a way that's empathic and helpful. I feel like I'm a therapist, but with far less experience and training. And it feels so precarious bringing this stuff up. How do I have these conversations without just damaging people? I see it sometimes in our interactions as well. She's started to consider things and look at herself, which is great. And also it involves a lot of grief and pain, and I fucking hate that. And I don't know if she knows anything about how to meet ourselves without shame. That's a big part of it. So are the things I say being used for healthy introspection and growth, or are they being used as a fucking whip and just something to spiral the shame further? I'm not responsible for that, and I can't be, but it's on my mind. So it's every conversation I have is largely how do I have it in the way that will make it most likely that she can integrate the information in a healthy way instead of it being damaging to her. And it's every single fucking conversation that I have with any of our family is, I feel like it's this precarious thing where I've got to do the job of a therapist, think everything through perfectly, and be aware that the rest of our family aren't in therapy, so they don't have this knowledge and these supports. What if what I say destabilizes them horribly? But I can't think about that all the time, because then I will say nothing, or I will continue to normalize harmful ideals and beliefs and behaviours. And it's a lot of fucking pressure. I feel like I just barely keep us stable. I don't want to pull away and not interact with any of our family. And I can't go back to how we'd interact with a codependent brain and people-pleasing modes. So I constantly feel like I'm choosing to potentially sacrifice their health for ours, even though I'm trying to do it in the way that sacrifices nobody. But all I can do is continue to tell myself that it's right that I prioritise us and that I talk honestly. I know I'm doing it as gently and as compassionately as I can. I couldn't be doing better. It's fucking bullshit. I feel like I wish there was a higher power or some higher authority, somebody to go, hey, we slipped through the cracks and this isn't fair. Can you help me sort this situation out? Where is the help for repairing? All I can do is change our behaviour. All I can do is heal us. All I can do is change how we show up for ourselves, for each other. And hope but not attached to the outcome, because it's really not like, that doesn't mean that anybody is going to take this behaviour as modelling and change theirs. So I can't even really hope for it, because like then the motive comes out all wrong. Like, what I've got to do really is just have the motive of I'm doing right by us and forget everything else, like detach from everything else, and it's really fucking hard. That's about it.